Okay, we're back for turn 25 now of heavy hitters. So this is the defense again. As before, we're pretty much in a state of tactical waiting. I want to be seeing where Titan is going to commit the infantry he's now got into the sunken lane there. It looks a lot like he's going to commit, you know, straight down the sunken lane and then down this way into the village from that side. The Hellcat is shuffling around here. The Civic Knight has some flanking shots on things. We're still eyeballing this area with the Jackson because that's where the King Tiger is. And yeah, there's going to be a tiny bit of shuffling with the Shermans. I want to get the mortar teams off and into jeeps, so I have a lot more flexibility with them. Potentially, I could end up with the mortars over here, but jeeps go really fast, and I want them to have that speed that they don't have when they're riding on the Shermans. That's also going to free the Shermans up to go and shoot things. So we're just going to pull back a tiny bit so we can see where the Hellcat's going to go, and press go. Oh, I think that's the Panther moving forward there. And the Hummel moving forward, yeah. A little bit of fire on, yeah, there goes the last survivor from the AT team. And there's that mortar team, which is got a head full of combat shock after that as well. So, yeah. The Hummel's moving right up. Yeah, definitely Titan moving his infantry down the lane, I think, there, so... Alright, let's check what we got over here. Has Titan is he doing anything with his tanks? Well, that's interesting. If he's deciding that he can shuffle the King Tiger over that way, then, yeah. Because he thinks I can't see it, but I can. So if he's going to switch the King Tiger onto this flank, that's going to change things a bit. Let's see, what do we get there? That half track is moving up, and that half track's moving. I think he's using the half tracks to ferry his troops about, to be honest. And that Hummel looks like it's aiming. Is it? Or is the barrel is just facing that direction? Yeah, it's just facing that direction. Well, seeing as though that Sherman's moving up there anyway, it might be able to get a shot off at the Hummel while staying screened off from the Panther that's up there. So we'll have to give that a bash. Yeah, this whole platoon is still moving back. Those guys are going to be absolutely knackered by now. And we did open fire on this little team here. Or area fired in their general direction, but I don't think... yeah, it never actually even fired a shot. Okay, Mr. Greyhound, well done. And I think once again have we managed to completely fail to remember to fire off to stop those orders for that Greyhound there, so it now has very little very little HE ammo left, but that's, you know, can live with that. With the King Tiger gone, it might be a good idea to shuffle up the Greyhound over on that flank as well. So we can give that a bash. Let's have a really good look at what Titan's doing here. So definitely the Panther moving up, and we've just about spotted these guys here. They're getting into the sunken lane. They're in the sunken lane, they're in the sunken lane. Those guys are in the sunken lane. It's all about the sunken lane here. Yeah, definitely. Which, yeah, kind of can't do that much about. It's times like this where I wish I had a TRP in there and some kind of heavy artillery on standby. But, nope, unfortunately not. I don't think even anybody who has permission to call in artillery can see it, so we'll just have to live with that. Jeep can't really go anywhere. He's just walking around because he is now carrying about 28 57mm shells on his own, like he's Superman or something. Well, he's not Superman anymore. That must be one of the Panthers. See these guys who get out and they crawl up there. That's the sound of their buddy getting whacked. They go into a shaken state and then hide in the lane again. Yeah, so you can see how even though because of the way the part of the morale system works, even though they couldn't see what was going on, they magically know when someone in their unit gets killed. Which is, you know, encourages you to keep the units together, I suppose. But, yeah, nothing else to see there. Let's cancel that order, and decided that he's not going to do anything anyway now. That Jeep's almost into position. The Hellcat should be in position on the next turn, so it's going to pop up here, talk to these guys who are going to be able to fill it in on what's going on, and then we'll see if we can't get some tasty flanking fire on to the Germans. We're also going to get this this Sherman. It's going to be worth sticking it behind the building here, hull down, where we can maybe pick off the Hummel. That's going to be completely worth it. Just adjust some of these. Orders are somewhat. That could be quite risky, but hopefully we'll be able to get a couple of shots in. I'm willing to bet that these guys are going to die when they stick their heads up, but in fact, potentially it might be better to actually face them this way to cover off the end of that, but yeah, we'll see. So that's the Hellcat sorted out. Let's push you up somewhat. Yep, we can't see anything up there. From there, why can't we see? Because of like some tiny bush. I'm trying to move it up somewhere where we can kill off these guys. But we're not going to get spotted by that Panzer IV. So that should be okay. The problem is these guys can see all that stuff, but they're not actually in communication, so nobody else knows it's there. Which is a bit of a pain, but I know it's there, so I can react somewhat. It might start being a good idea to move the Jackson over as well. Yeah, those guys have just moved up to the next place, haven't they? So let's just machine gun the snot out of them. I feel like we haven't hurt Titan for quite a few turns now. I want that to change. But I reckon what he's going to do, I'm not sure he's actually going to send the King Tiger up with these guys. I have a feeling he's going to set it up on top of the ridge here where it can start putting shells into the village. That's what I do. That's not necessarily what he's going to do. But we'll see. I could reverse the Jackson up there and then push it up through here through church number 2 and get it actually in the village. We might be able to put some shots on the Panthers and things, which would be nice. Yeah. I'm going to give it another turn, just in case that's like some kind of creepy fake out. The number of times in this game where I've moved something, and then it's turned out that I shouldn't have moved it because something pops up, you know, the next turn, is getting on my nerves. So we'll just be patient and go have a look at the attack. Okay, turn 25 of the attack for heavy hitters. We have got a team up to the church. They lost the guy from that HMG team we keep seeing down there, I think. So their backup is going to come in these two half tracks. There's another full squad split between them. You know, more fire on the village. I think we're going to start mortaring those foxholes we saw there. Yeah, a bit more fire and down that corner. This team is popping smoke, but they are literally stood next to the church and nobody's shooting at them. I mean, well, actually they're not pinned anymore, are they? They were pinned at the end of the last turn, I think. So we'll see if there's actually anybody in the church. And yeah, not a lot else going on, but that's good. We're keeping it simple and kind of bite-sized. We also had a sniper team or a marksman team or something up here who was trying to ping one of the half tracks last turn, so yep, there they are. I'm more concerned that... Why have you stopped? Half tracks, why have you stopped? Let's please not stop there. What on earth is... Oh, we're going to have to check that. What on earth is going on? I fluffed the orders and they're driving into a wall. Ugh. Didn't think I did. But, yeah, so you can see that there's nothing to see. Really, not a lot has happened. Let's just check what happened with them. Yeah, it looks like that one drove into the wall, which I'm pretty sure I didn't need it to do. Oh no, it's just... Okay, so it's avoided the wall, and it's got into some kind of terrible cornering situation. Oh my god. This is what happens when you don't massively fine-tune your orders. But they got up through, apart from that, so... And these guys, yeah, I mean, we can probably just waltz into the church there, I think. But we'll give it another turn, wait for the backup. Looks like there's something in there. We saw those guys again. Whoop. It's actually that panther that can see it, which is interesting. Now, this is another reason for putting absolute, literal metric tons of bullets downrange, which is when your half tracks do stupid stuff, whether it's the TAC AI or because I've told them to. Obviously, we want them to not have anybody shooting at them. Well, first of all, this half track here is now full of machine guns. So we're going to move that up here. These half tracks are now going to you know, get there in the middle of the turn instead of the end of the turn. Just clear the target so we don't end up shooting ourselves or something stupid. Still, I'm interested to know why this panther in particular is out of contact. So the radio is okay, apparently. But apparently on here it doesn't have a radio. Whereas these ones do. So I don't know what's... That's got to be a bug of some description, but... Yeah, interesting one. And we saw a contact in there, didn't we? So let's just... put a shell or two in the direction of that house. Carry on machine gun and everything. Let's just... put a turn of machine gun fire from these guys here just in the general direction of that, just to say, look, I know you're there. And yeah, next turn we should be getting inside the church. The one potential issue here is that these half-tracks both turn up at the same time. The squads get out at the same time, they both stack up on the wall, and then the squad melds back together because it's in two halves at the moment, instead of going inside, so yeah. That would be a bit of a pain. But that just means on the next turn we can just go in. They are relatively safe there. Yeah, then once we're taking the front half of the church, we've taken the nave, we can move on to the tower and get the MGs up in the tower. And then we can bring out the 37mm AA, which are these little bad boys, which are sitting there not doing anything, waiting to shoot stuff. And then we can start moving more troops up so we can start clearing the village. Very methodical and nasty. But it's not supposed to be fair outside the confines of the quick battle force selectors.